Welcome to DCR Rails, and today I'm taking us on a tour of the Chesapeake Bay and Western Model Railroaders Club located in Yorktown, Virginia. And as you walk in, this was the first scene that greets you up against the wall. They've got a big open foyer there. But here's Norge, Virginia, which is not too far from where I live, about 30 minutes up the road. And what I want to talk about today is what inspires you, and this particular coal dump station is something I have in mind for my own layout, so I was really interested in this. And it was one of the first things I saw when I came in the door. So there's a coal dumping station, there's a little diner there, a church, schoolyard rather, 1963 time frame there, it's what it looks like. So I'm thinking, okay, we've got the 60s and before, but looking at those engines and the freight cars there, those are newer than the early 60s. So the first thing that comes to mind is this club doesn't care about any particular era. I know I talk a little bit about when people talk about, well, what era are you modeling and what time frame, and you know, scale is one of the first things that comes up, and then this is an HO scale layout. But from what I can tell, they're really loose on the era. So I think the modelers build what interests them and they bring it to the club and they put it all together. So I was impressed with the weathering on these cars. They've done a fantastic job. The wheels are rusted. We got rust on the roofs of the rail cars. So I was impressed with that. The ballasting work looks great. I understand that's a real boring thing to do, but they've got everything ballasted really well. And so there's the Pennsylvania, small caboose there. So this is before the mid-80s. I like the people and such. Guy's taking a nap there. No one seems bothered by him sleeping there. So here's the Chesapeake Bay and Western. They've designed their own logos and things. So I'm really impressed. So looking at this, it looks like it's the late 1950s, early 60s, based on the cars and things that I see on the layout. There's a 40s vintage car there. And then here comes, I thought was the big boy, but it doesn't have enough trucks on the front of it. But it's a Southern Pacific, so it's not the Union Pacific's big boy, but it's a 0444 looks like. And then they've got the modern engine behind them. And again, I'm just amazed at the level of detail. So the club members run their own trains and engines, power if you will. And it's, to me, is just fantastic. So I decided I would just start here and move to the west. I'm going to say to my right is the west. I don't know how the club has it laid out, but for my own reference, I'm going to move west from, according to the water tower, that was Norge. And now here comes a modern container train. So the year they are modeling just went out the window as far as that goes. But that's okay. It's what you enjoy and what you like. I've got a model of this that I haven't put together. It's I think it's 3 of those units with some of those car containers. I haven't assembled them yet, but I do have that. But I was thinking my layout was going to be mid-70s, so I didn't know if I was going to do that or not. I love the lights in the buildings. The buildings are lit up. And the detail and the weathering on the cars is just fabulous. And they've got a dock here, and here's a barge. Lights on the station above it. Lights in the factory power plant over there. So just a phenomenal job. And so as I look on these things, I can get all kinds of ideas. So I went around to the other wall, around behind where I was at, and here's a coal dumping station to fill barges with, and that's down, I've seen some of that down in Norfolk. So this is set near Chesapeake Bay and that, so living here I'm familiar with it. Love the detail work on the roads, the cracks. And look at this diner. We've got patrons in there. The only thing missing are the burgers and fries. But it looks just fabulous. I love the cracks in the road and the tar covering it up. The battered old mobile home there. And we got the Riverview Motel. And looks like something's up. The police have rolled in there and they're pounding on a door looking to see what's going on there. We got a service station. I like the backdrop there. Tidewater moving in storage. Again, that's something local here in Virginia. And then we have a Navy/Army base right here. Just on the other side of this bridge. But it looks like they have plenty of industries and switching opportunities so they can run operations on club night when they decide to run the operations. But again, the little gates and the chain link fence is just fabulous. And we have Army engines there on the U.S. Naval Base. So apparently they have joint ventures here on the club layout.
They mix back this. You got Army and Navy together in the same spot.
And we have another train approaching. A couple of them. We got Chesapeake and Ohio. They've got some newer, longer cars on there with some covered hoppers.
Dispatch 750. I'm currently at Arsenal holding on the main.
So they've got walkie-talkies talking to the dispatcher on where they're at. Love the dock work here. The flat car rolls up to this freight house. We've got trucks unloading. We've got the river here. Got a refinery right there on the side. So just the attention to detail on this layout is just the next level. And they've got some expert craftsmen building these things. I like the lights. You can see inside, see the rooms. Just fabulous on how they put this together. And apparently they've got this train on a timer. It backs up and then it goes forward. So that was interesting to see. And as far as I could tell, I didn't see anybody operating this. This just seems to run back and forth on its own accord. So someone's set things up. Then there's a set of stairs, and on the other side of the stairs, on the first level, is this engine yard, a triple bay engine facility. There's another Chesapeake and Bay Western for their own club layout. Nice paint scheme on that. They've got Norfolk Western, BNSF after Santa Fe and Burlington Northern merged. And look here, we have the big boy, the 4884, complete with smoke and whistle, engineer in the cab, beautifully done. And he's pulling a string of reefers. Then of course there's the caboose track, which is always an interesting thing. Heavily weathered caboose there, fantastic. And as I wandered around the layout, I realized that that particular engine and behind this facility here, this engine facility and caboose rip track in that, is a helix. So this train's leaving the yard and heading into the helix to head to places beyond in the layout, which we will be exploring here shortly. I know more about the steam engines than I do the diesel, so I'm not the one to sit here and identify if they're G7s or T98s or whatever these things are. I'm still learning the engines. I've always had a place in my heart for steam, but we got the Norfolk and Southern. We've got ourselves an Army train here, and then we've got the trailer trains and covered hopper trains. It looks like they've got road work back here. Got the orange cones up in the dump trucks back there in the background, complete with blinking lights. I just loved walking through this and just panning down the layout. Each spot I went to, there was another fun thing to look at. The backdrop there is phenomenal with the farmhouse and the trees, and it's merged in well with the backdrop. Unfortunately, my particular layout is going to be a tabletop, so I'm not going to have backdrop. But if I ever get to a shelf layout, this is something to come back and look at, of how they've got it blended with the background into the layout itself. So a lot of road work going on back there. We've got the switch yard here, complete with all sorts of things, both freight and passenger service. And we've got Dickie's hot dog stand here, complete with a checkerboard floor. It's a popular place. Obviously the parking lot's full, with a fire going on next door, but they're too hungry to come out to check out the fire. Fabulous job with the smoke, flames in the windows, blinking lights on the fire trucks. The detail on this is just phenomenal. And I don't know if you noticed the load right up there, that was tied down. Another fence with gates. And it looks like they've got a work in progress here to blend a street scene in there. Miracle furniture. It's a miracle they get it built, I guess. This building is just phenomenal. The weathering on it, the brickwork, the detail on it, the fact that you can rolling stock inside the building. And we got a bakery here, so we've got grain cars and freight cars. Lots of things to take in and out of that industry. But I wanted to stop back over and look at the passenger cars. I've always had a spot in my heart for passenger cars. And we've got people inside this car. So I don't know how impatient they are, because it's sitting here on the siding. This car looks like they're hauling it somewhere. I don't see anybody inside of it. But just a phenomenal details on all their models. So it looks like a model railroad club that enjoys getting together and actually doing things. I love the final car where you've got the platform you can go out on the back and look at it. I then went upstairs, and there's the pink foam. I've seen a lot of pink foam on YouTube. There's the plans on what they want it to look like. And in the background, we have another passenger train, Santa Fe, rolling by, the Zephyr. That's a newer one than some of the others. Abandoned warehouse back there in the background. Heavy weathering on the cars. Love it. That looks great. And I see people down by the creek there. But we've got some construction going on up here. Obviously they're not using this track. We got a stick pin in there to block things off from going in there. But there's just so much to see. The trees, the foliage looks great. We've got an outlook for the ranger station. Some shacks, an abandoned switch tower, and another train coming through, another passenger train coming through. So there's one that was back there and one here up closer. Watch the train go by. And this is nice. We got nice wide open country to run with. We got some canoers down in the river there, with the tracks below that level. Tunnel. And I like the dirt road, that gravel road that comes down by the bridge. Someone's camping. We've got a little shed here on the dock. Moving water. Just fabulous work by this club, and I'm glad they've opened the layout for the public to come in and take a look at. I, for one, really appreciate the work they've done, the rock work, again, I just like to look at the pictures and see what's done, because the trees, the rock facing, that's things I'm interested in doing. They've weathered the tracks really well. They're all rusted, looking great. And here comes the Zephyr that was coming in as I came up the stairs. We get to see it roll over the top of this bridge. I'm just going to pan back around the other side and catch it as it goes over this bridge we were just looking at. So there's the second passenger train on this line, because there was that one that came just before this one. Really good to see the train on the bridge. That's just neat. So I go back to where I left off at. We got some company housing here, it looks like. And so now we got modern day trucks, unlike downstairs where it was in the 60s. This looks like today's trucks doing some work. And then we got some 70s vintage cars over across the way there. We've got a siding with some coal cars. And I see a coal mine up there. And I'm interested in the coal mine because I'm planning on a coal mine on my layout. So that might fit what I'm doing or planning on doing there. And we've got another locomotive coming through, and the load looks like it's from the 1940s. Looks like a boiler. And we got 40s vintage vehicles on that. And I believe the club calls this Germantown over here. And then more coal. And Virginia does have some coal mines and such around here. And here's a little smaller coal unit. And we've got that coal train coming through. So that's fitting as I'm sitting here checking out the coal mine and the coal dump station. Here comes the coal train. Now that looks like something I might be interested in putting on my layout. That looks about like a footprint that would be about right for my own layout there. And people always seem to make the scene come to life of having people on the layout. It doesn't look deserted. Oh, we have sunbathers on the roof here. So we've got a town here, a guy on the fire escape looking down, people walking in the street. Looks like it's a little windy here today. The Italian pizzeria. Very nice. The weeds and that growing on the building. Again, all these little details, which is great with HO scale. You can put all kinds of details in. And oh my goodness, we've got a window into the apartment complex. A couple of police officers. Oh, we have a murder up here on the 3rd floor. You can get down and check out the office building, the storefront. Someone's going to go outside, an Italian eatery here, and we can look out the windows of the shops and see the streets and the cars on the other side. Fantastic. There's an ambulance parked over there next to the fire station. And somebody's got some money. There's Lamborghinis out in the road here. So I guess the thing when people ask you what era are you modeling, it doesn't matter. Do what you want, whatever makes you happy with this. Got some road work here. I like the fact that the track work is in the pavement there. That's cool. Got some modern 18-wheelers. Got some maintenance cars over there. Another dock for more switching opportunities, operations. So there's the coal mine I'm interested in. trees, the rock work there. Just fabulous. They've got a local train here. Oh, there's a smaller one. That may work better for me. So there's some ideas for the coal mine in that. And there's some pulpwood. Got some logs there. They cut out some logs. Another trailer. Another tunnel. My understanding is this thing is on 2 floors with 7 levels of trains. And there's the coal train. It's made its way up a little higher than it was earlier. Some more company housing up there on the hill. Church house, complete with cemetery. And we've got some track work just to keep things interesting. Oh my goodness. You got a fight on the road there? Accident? Very nice. And we have another factory right here. Lit from the inside once again. Brickwork looks really nice. Weathering on the cars is top rate. Interesting bumpers. I'm going to have to look into that. I like those bumpers on the end there. Squeeze some more cars into their siding. You can hear the walkie-talkies in the background as the trains communicate with the dispatcher. They've got quite a bit going on here. A lot of people here. Some more wood scenes. And another switch yard coming in up here. Chesapeake and Western, once again, their own colors. Another passenger set, Canadian Pacific. Covered hoppers, tankers, coal trains. They must have a fabulous operating session with the big yard downstairs and then this one upstairs. That's 2 major yards I've seen so far as I've walked through the layout. Oh, look at this. We got a guy walking across the roof of the dilapidated old boxcar on that locomotive there. And we've got ourselves French Creek Yard is where we're at, I guess. And they've got their card box to track their switching with. If you move a car, move its card. Somebody is not following the rules there. With all the cars you've got and the cards that go with them, that would you'd lose things real quick with a layout this size. Got a massive switch yard, great control panel. Again, I think operations would be a lot of fun on this layout. French Creek. People waiting for the trains. We got some freight there on some pallets. Another town scene, urban scene up above the train station. And then they've got another engine facility and yard repair, car repair here. Looks like there's some welding going on inside. Again, the LEDs and what you can do is fantastic. Meanwhile, the maintenance crew's on the roof. Apparently the valve's stuck and we got to get it taken care of. And here's a fellow painting the... He's doing that by hand. That's a big job. Archer car repair. Some more welding in there. Very nice. I like the rusted wheels there and the newer ones on top. So here we are in Archer and West Creek, West Virginia. Here's the shack to come in, and oh my goodness, they're on strike. Check this out. They're not happy. They don't like the scabs going in and taking care of things. Archer has unfair labor, and they're on strike, and the scabs go home. And apparently one of the club members is not liked too well. They've got his mug on the pictures with the red X on it, so I wonder if that's Mr. Archer. Anyway, unfair labor practices, they're cutting their hours, and they're not too happy there, so they're letting it be known. Little Mini Cooper, my boy would like that. Another view of the city back there. And then we roll out to the urban, and there's that shed. I think every layout has the shed with those guys playing checkers on it. I have one of those on my layout as a kid. But plenty of things here to look at, to get ideas on. We just continue traveling west, and they've got another switch yard coming in here. This is another engine repair facility. I like the details inside the sheds that are lit. And there's a J-Series steam locomotives. This is the Chesapeake Bay Western French Creek Yard, safety first. Apparently they've had another accident. Check out the J locomotive, and oh my goodness, they're never going to get this thing done. They keep pushing it back and pushing it back. I guess that's like the model railroad. You're always building it and it's never done. But there's the J series. I've got the 611 in my collection. I can't see the number on that one. Some more Pennsylvania and another. So they got a couple of them before they destroyed them all. That one is 610. Unfortunately, that particular locomotive is no longer in service. It's been scrapped, but its sister 611 still runs the lines, and right now it's up in Pennsylvania. And here's the end of the line. It loops around, so I guess trains come up here and they can loop around and go up to the next level. So that's the end of that level there. And we cross over, and we have another switch yard here. It looks like an industry. Car loading. Yep, new cars are able to load up the car racks and that. And we've got people here, so I'm not going to get down there to check out the refinery, which I'm interested in because I'm planning on refinery on my own layout. And then they've got a pit, and they've got 2 more levels down below, 3 levels down below where I'm standing. There's the coal train we saw earlier. There's the what's it called? Got the coal train, we've got the wood pulp train, and here's the helix. And my goodness, the rock. You know, I've always liked those rock engines. I'm going to have to go find out where they went to. There's a boxcar and a couple of gondolas. I wanted to get some of those for my own layout at some point. I don't know why, I've just liked it. But there's their helix, and back into this area. I went downstairs, and now I'm in the lower level of when I was looking down from up top. And there's the reefer train that we saw leaving the yard downstairs earlier. There's the Zephyr that we saw going by earlier. They're all parked in here in this middle section. A little water scene. First I thought that was Woody coming out of the house there. And we got some cyclists, and apparently this guy is trying to get the girl's number. And the boyfriend's back there shaking his head like, no, that's my gal. An old man just ignoring the whole scene, going on his own way. Workers are up there. And we got folks just enjoying a summer day here. Perpetual summer here on the layout. Complete with the gals down at the beach. I guess they're at the bed and breakfast there. There's the hotel back there. And we've got Decker's Lumber. And the trains are all sitting here. This must be a choke point on the railroad. They go from one place to another. They go through here. So there goes the Zephyr. It's heading out. He's got a green light somewhere. And here is the Union Pacific big boy, waiting for a green light so he can move forward. Some more coal up there. This is very nice. I like the yard there, and the folks here were nice enough to get me a step stool, so I was able to climb up and check out the next level. So we can see up here, there goes the coal train. Here we are up on the level above, just below the level that we were upstairs on with the people on strike. So here's an older section of the layout, older dilapidated buildings. And vote for Honest Joe, Kieseltown dog catcher. I wonder what club members on that billboard there. Some gondola cars. They're tearing down a place, getting it that cement factory. Black Gold Asphalt Company. Old town there. Train station / freight house. Looks really nice. Phenomenal job on this. So this is the upper section of the middle section below the second floor. So this is the section between the floors. There's that big boy. Engineer behind it, number 4012. Very nice. We got static grass they've put together to put on. That's something I may look into doing down the road when I get further along on my layout, is putting the static grass in. But here comes the Zephyr. Past this farmer's field, looks like he's having some problems there hooking up his plows so he can do some work there in his field as the train goes by behind him. And here comes the big boy across the trestle with all the reefer cars. I like the brickwork and the rock work. It's just gorgeous. And we got a metal trestle. This is coming around the corner. I followed the train around to see where it was going, and I come across another town. Industry. We've got streets here. We've got people in the diner. Looks like people busy out on the street. Cars parked along the street there. And then we've got the industries in that here. Looks like they've got some more switching in there. And this is Columbia Furnace. Proudly done with the wrecking ball precision. I gotta love model railroaders' sense of humor. A little dry. When you see things, you can chuckle at the signs and things that they've got. Always something to find and look at. As we call them with the videos and movies, Easter eggs, if you will. Very well done on here. Another overpass. The cars on it going through another tunnel. This looks so much like West Virginia. They've recreated Virginia and West Virginia very well. So it left the area and it back into the helix. There's the train we saw earlier, that other passenger train that the Santa Fe was following. And back out to the room we were at to start with. There's the switchyard downstairs. So we just about made a whole circuit. But now I'm curious where that Rock Island train had gotten to. So I want to go look for that Rock Island train. Oh, here comes the big boy back through. It was on that lower level. It's circling back around and back into what I'm calling the junction room. I don't know what the club calls it, but that seems like everything goes through there. So this is moving up to the other level there. Nice broad curve. That's what's so nice about a club layout. You can have the wide radius to run those big engines and long trains. Looks really nice going across that bridge, doesn't it? We'll just watch the cars go by. Interesting when you have a long train snaking around like that. You know the front of it's there and here's the back of it going by. I like the trees growing up in the rocks there. It looks like they're getting ready to pour resin in the middle. They got the creek bed all built. Unless they want it to be a dry creek. They've got some livestock and looks like a bear down there. So it looks like it's ready for water. Right there looks kind of like a thing out of the west, except there's just too many trees. And there's the caboose. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Again, I just love the humor that is around on the trains. And the guy's fishing, so apparently they will be adding resin because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have him fishing in a dry creek bed. Look at the ladder work in that, the rust. Very well done. Scrounging through her purse for change to see if she can go in there and get an ice cream. Looks like they're having a good time inside. Busy street. Just thought I'd come back and take a closer look at this. Again, the detail work and everything that they've done on this is just fabulous. All the little lights inside and outside the buildings. Very well done. And I found the rock. Here it is back at the beginning of the layout about where I was at. There's the consist of engines. And here we see it underway. I understand that if they want to keep the paint schemes, they've got to paint their engines and register them because the rock is now running on a branch line in Mississippi. I like the weathering on the overpass there. And now we've gone full circle back to where we started when we first came in. And there we are with the rock parked by the schoolyard on the opening sequence. So we've made the complete tour all the way around of this club's most outstanding layout. So there you have it. Inside that warehouse is the Chesapeake Bay and Western Model Railroad Club.